So friends, I was fortunate enough to go to the visitation of Red West. That was on the 23rd on a Sunday night. It was from 5 to 7. And I got there about 5:30, and the line was very long, and it took me till about almost 7 o'clock to get through the line, speak to everybody, and see Red and get out of there. And this was the paper that they gave you, the pamphlet, if you will. I don't know what you would call this, but at the beginning, when you walk in, you sign the book, and then they give you this. And this is Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is an appointed time for everything, and there is a time for every event under heaven. And what they're saying is all of us are going to pass. Nobody is going to live physically forever. We can live spiritually forever. But it says, in loving memory, Red West, March 8th, 1936 to July 18th, 2017. The funeral service is going to be the next day at 1 p.m., Monday, July 24th at Memorial Park Riverside Chapel, which is the chapel inside there at Memorial Park. Now, they had him in the front room. As soon as you walk through the front doors, the first room on the right was the room that he was in for viewing and for the family at that night. And then it says here that the interment, it was at this same cemetery, which is exactly right. And then this is what the back of it looks like. There's a cross right here. And then at the funeral, they had this, and it's a celebration of the life and the everlasting life of Red West, and same date. And if you notice here, Elvis was born in January the 8th of 1935. So Elvis was basically a year and January, February, March, so a year and 3 months or a year and 2 months older than Red. Passed away, and Red almost made it 40 years past Elvis. And then they read through this. They had the pastor that officiated was Reverend Terry Street from the St. Philip Episcopal Church there in Memphis. And so we went through this, and they did the Old Testament reading. And some of the people that read, I believe, was one of the grandchildren, the grandson. And then there was 4 girls, grandchildren, that one of them read, and the other ones stood with her. And that was this part. I believe they read Romans 8, 14 through 19, 34 through 35, and 37 through 39. And the grandson read right here, the Old Testament, Isaiah 25, 6 through 9. And then they had a few Elvis songs during it. Nobody sang live. Donnie Sumner did speak, but he was not there like he was at Sonny's. He just did a recorded speaking because he was unable to make it. And he said very similar things to what he said at Sonny's, and he said that he was a friend of his and spoke very, very highly of him. And at the end, where the things are highlighted, the whole congregation, all of us people that attended the funeral, said it. Where sorrow and pain are no more, neither sighing, but life everlasting. Amen, and thanks be to God. And then when he said prayers to the people, each of us said amen after each prayer. So it was very interesting. It says right here, the congregation is invited to the brief graveside service after the funeral. So I was able to go to that. So this gives you an idea about what happened at the funeral. And I'll do some insight. You know, when I did Sonny's, I didn't know how I was going to do it or what I was going to do, but I'm trying to be edifying to Red, but not hurt his family, if you will. It seemed to be a great family. I spoke with all of them. I spoke with his wife and told her that he was quite a legend. And when I said the word legend, she lit up and looked up at the screen. They had different videos of Red in movies and fighting in movies and different things like that. And she looked up at that screen and she repeated the word legend. And I said, yes, ma'am, that man was a legend. And I think that that epitomizes Red West, in my opinion, friends. He was quite a legend. So we're going to go into some things here. I want you to know the things that Red did in his life. But I also want you to understand this right here, Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a appointed time for everything, and there is a time for every event under heaven. Although Elvis did great things and Red West did great things, and they were very famous and they were legends, when it comes to the end, none of that matters except for to us that are here left on earth. So I just want you to, if you don't take anything else away from this, I want you to take that away, that though he was very, very famous, Red, and very famous for being in Elvis's life, we all die. So get to know Jesus, friends. I want you to take that away from this. So let's talk about Red. Stay tuned. Right there on the right is the funeral home, and you see it's full of cars. It's called Memorial Park. And as I mentioned, I was there for Dr. Nick recently. I haven't put that video out yet, but I've shot it. And this is the place. West.
If you park anywhere in the parking lot, you walk in under this big overhang, and it's the first room on your right.
Okay, thank you.
Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Christ. A celebration of life and everlasting life of Red West. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, God has called Red to that great reunion where he now abides in the bosom of God himself. He has been invited to that great feast where there is much festivity and festive music. I think Red would like that. He loved being with gatherings with his family and his friends, his fellow actors and co-workers. There he will enter the threshold of that great mansion where there will be prepared rooms for his heart's desire and peace and joy. The mansion is a place of healing. It's a place of wholeness. Red is finally home. He has fought the good fight. Boy, hasn't he. And he has finished the race. And now God has called him home. In this great mansion, this is my fantasy, in this great mansion I can see a number of rooms just prepared for Red. There will no doubt be a movie and film room, proudly displaying his favorite memorabilia. and his many credits and work in television and movies that span across nearly 6 decades. Among the many different roles, including many tough guy roles, there will be the critically acclaimed Goodbye Solo, of which he had a lead role. This film will be on the permanent now playing list. There may be a music room with a complete collection of all of his favorite music, including his own contributions as a songwriter and as a composer and as a musician. That will bring him great joy. There may be a Red's Gym. A Red's Gym where his newfound body can once again enjoy his athletic prowess. From karate to stuntman tactics to fending off bullies. Not that there should be bullies in heaven. But if there were, he'd step in front of them. There might be an Elvis room where all of his best memories, the best times, and the best adventures with his longtime friend Elvis are recalled and replayed, and maybe even with Elvis himself. Outside this mansion with many rooms, there will be a luscious garden bursting with beautiful fruits and flowers as a result of the labor of his own hands. Yes, those same ham hands, as he continues his passion for gardening as a gentle giant. I was thinking about this. I wondered if his gardening was maybe a throwback to his earlier, more humble roots from that country soil. Today we celebrate the life and the restoration and the redemption of Red West. Red was a larger-than-life kind of guy, wasn't he? Because he lived life largely. He was a risk-taker. He was an adventurer. He was creative and oh so tenacious in everything that he did. Now, he was not an expert in everything, but everything he did, he tried to do expertly. Red was fiercely loyal and had a protective spirit. Red also served and protected his country through the United States Marine Corps. His closest friends, he also loved his family. His closest friends, including Elvis, called him Bullet Bob, or Bullet. Now, regardless of the origin, you might have to ask Mr. Klein about that. It was a fitting nickname because, you know, Red was just a straight shooter. He was a what you see, what you get kind of guy. Red was not a legend in his own mind. Red leaves us as a legend. And with a legion of memories and friendships and accomplishments and contributions to the performing arts and music. But now, between the saints and sinners, Red is in the arms of the great Good Shepherd that we read about in the 23rd Psalm. The great Good Shepherd, his maker and his comforter. He has fought the good fight, he has finished the race, and now as untimely as it may seem to us, and I'm sorry, God has called it on. As an adventurer in life, so is Red now an adventurer through death. His final act. You know, I can see Red up there now in heaven holding acting classes for some of those angel actor wannabes. That'd be just like it. Red Studio or something. Always looking for chances to mentor. In the gospel message today, Jesus tells us that we are also invited to a great banquet feast that we have at home, that we are not alone, and that He is preparing a special place for each of us. Our room will be ready, and the table will be set as God and all the saints await our arrival. There is a catch, however. We have to RSVP. God does not force us to come. We must accept His invitation. And we can say, I accept your invitation. Someday take me home. I know I have. This day, we celebrate and thank God for the life and the everlasting life of Red West. Welcome home, Red. Welcome home. Amen.
A good friend of Dad's, Donnie Summers, could not be here today. Sent in a recording of some words that he wanted to speak about that. And we would like to listen to them now.
I'm Donnie Summers, and I've come to honor the living of a true Southern gentleman, a giant of a man. Hollywood knew him as Red West. The world called him Elvis's Bodyguard. To one sweet lady, he was called Sweetheart. Another couple of fine young folks called him Daddy. And there were 6 little fellas that lovingly referred to him as Grandpa. And there was one gentleman that always knew him as Brother. Yes, sir, old Red was called by a lot of names. But the one I always preferred, I like to call him my friend. Because that's exactly what he was. He was a true friend. I was very saddened when Pat called me and told me that Red had departed, and I spent the time between then and now to recall a lot of beautiful memories, and I have bucketfuls. Some of them I would be glad to share with anybody who would take time to listen. Then there are some that I kind of hold in the privacy of my own thoughts and choose not to talk about it anymore till Red and I can get together and laugh about it one more time. If the saying is true that, in fact, we are a composite of all the folks whose lives we have touched, then I can tell you of a fact that my life is richer and has been made fuller by my path having crossed that of my friend, Red West. We've laughed together, we've worked together, shared the stage together, traveled together, and during the days of our time together, our bond of friendship grew increasingly stronger and stronger. And now I must rely only on the memories that Red and I created together to build the fort that his passion was created. Friends are one of life's greatest commodities, but a true friend loves you unconditionally, accepts you the way you are, is loyal to you, and regardless of what comes down the road, friendship remains. And I can honestly tell you that Red was that kind of friend. He really was a true friend in every sense of the word. And from this day forward, I will miss his bigger-than-life presence, his warm smile and big, firm handshake, and the joy of his company. I'm going to miss my friend, Red West. I'm not really sure that folks in heaven can hear folks down here on this earth, but just in case they can, Red, I love you, I miss you, and I'll see you in the morning, buddy.
Jesus is gloriously risen, giving light to those who sat in darkness and in the shadow of death. The Lord will guide our...
So friends, I want to tell you one last story before I let you go about Red West. And I want you to know before I go any further that this man's life is defined more by more than just his relationship with Elvis and his friendship. He was way more than that. And I think I've shown you that this man was a songwriter, a musician, an actor in his own right, with or without Elvis Presley. He was legendary. But I want to tell you the story about how they met. And this is in 2013 when they put up the Humes High marker, the new one. But this is the bathroom where it all started. That is Red in this bathroom. And I'm going to tell you the story. I was fortunate enough on the day that Red was buried, before I went to the funeral, I went to this school and was able to get in and go into the bathroom and tell the story about how Red and Elvis met. And of course the bathroom's going to echo like crazy. The audio's not going to be great, but this is a story of two people who met in an unusual way, and it was a friendship that lasted a lifetime. And Red, at the 2013 Humes High dedication of the plaque there, he even said that meeting Elvis was one of the most important things that ever happened to him in his whole life. So here's the story. So friends, the story is that Elvis was in this bathroom and he had long hair, which didn't fit in with all the other kids, and there was two guys that were going to have Elvis jacked up against the wall, and they were going to threaten him to cut his hair. Well, Red West came in here to smoke, believe it or not, into this bathroom. And when he came in here to smoke, he heard what they were saying, and he said, "Boys, if you're going to cut his hair, you're going to have to cut mine." And Red had quite a reputation, evidently. So they let Elvis down, and Elvis and Red were friends ever since then. It happened right here in this bathroom. In this bathroom right here, friends. This very bathroom, can you believe this? Now, the things have changed. The urinals have been changed to the new style. The windows have been changed, it's been updated, but the history is still here, right here in this bathroom. I'm going to show you around. Stay tuned. So as you can see, obviously where the urinals are has been changed, and what they did was built over the urinals and put a set of tile over it, and then put new urinals on the top of it. But there's one telltale sign in this room right here that verifies that this is the room. If you'll look just beyond Red, I'm zooming in on a part in the very back up against the wall on the floor, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to zoom in on it now, and then I'll show you what it looks like behind Red. So it's definitely this bathroom. That does not appear in any of the other boys' bathrooms in this school. I went to every one of them. So it's definitely the first floor bathroom. So was it this corner that they had him jacked up in? Or was it this corner? You can see where there's a plug there, so I'm assuming this was open. I'm sure that these have been changed over a period of time. Because that was 60 years ago, friends, over 60. These water lines are the same though, that come out, and you can see that they jumped, they attached into them. They attached into them and then attached the new stuff. So the other toilets are right behind this wall. There you go, friends. So this is the next morning, friends. So friends, let's talk just a moment while we're pulling up to the grave the next day about Red West, the legend, the real man, who was and is a legend. Red wrote a lot of songs, and you'd be shocked. He wrote one of my favorite Christmas songs, If Every Day Could Be More Like Christmas. Bet you did not know that. He also co-wrote Separate Ways, and If You Talk in Your Sleep, that was on the Promised Land album. He, If You Think I Don't Need You, Just Look in My Eyes, Baby, These Ain't Raindrops Falling Out of the Sky. He wrote that song for Viva Las Vegas. He was a co-writer. He wrote I'm a Fool, which Ricky Nelson recorded, and You'll Be Gone, That's Someone You'll Never Forget. He was also in Walking Tall 1, 2, in Roadhouse, in The Rainmaker, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. All kinds of, and there's many more movies than that. His latest movie is Safe Haven in 2013. Also, Goodbye Solo, which he had the lead role in 2009. Also, a lot of TV shows. Baba Black Sheep, he played Andy Micklin, Magnum P.I., The A-Team, Knight Rider, The Fall Guy, The Twilight Zone, Roadhouse, as I mentioned. Just a bunch of stuff that you never really even knew that he did. But I'd watch movies and just see him in there and go, wow. He was in the Wild Wild West as a henchman. He was on the television series The Rebel. He was a stuntman as well and did all of his own stunts. Just an amazing, legendary person. So we miss you, Red West. And friends, ironically, this was almost 2 months ago that Red was at Sonny's funeral. And I just happened to be there to capture this touching moment. Rest in peace, my friend.